Toby, can you stop saying handies? Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're talking about Pastry Week on the Great British Baking Show. No handshakes this week, or handies, as Toby likes to call them. Maybe handies doesn't have the same connotation or definition in the UK as it does here in the US, but it could mean something else here that has nothing to do with handshakes. Or I guess depending on how you think about it, it could be kind of a handshake. But anyways, Toby, can you stop saying handies? You know, pastry might be a bit much for me with all the like rolling and folding and chilling and then having to do that 500 times. Also, why aren't sausage rolls more popular here in the US? They look delicious. Before we talk about the episode, if you haven't watched it yet, I will ruin it for you here in about 10 seconds. So if you don't want that, head over to Netflix, check it out, and then come back here. Tom surprisingly had a rough couple challenges, but he did end up pulling it out in the Showstopper. And guess who's doing better? Leslie. I've had a feeling from the beginning that she's really good, but she just hasn't pulled it out yet. She had a great week. And poor Natalia, she left today. I like her a lot, like a lot. And you know why? Let me tell you why. It's because she's messy, like really messy, as am I. These shots of her mess just make me love her more because same. I thought the shot was pretty funny. Her messy ass counter when her thing was baking. And I would imagine, I mean, they're not doing anything while their stuff bakes, right? So she probably had time to clean that up, but still a mess. Again, same. Jasmine, she got her 3-star baker today. I mean, she's so good. I just wonder if the other bakers are just like, come on. But you can't deny it. She's great. All right. Signature challenge was a savory pastry plait, or braid, as we call it here in the US. Basically a pastry that's filled with some kind of savory filling and then braided. I'm shrugging like it seems easy, but I'm sure it's not. Let's talk about lamination. I've heard this word, I don't even know how many times in the years I've been watching this show, but I've never actually looked it up. So what is lamination? Okay, so it's basically the whole rolling and folding and putting butter in and chilling it and whatever so that you have layers and it's nice and flaky when it's done baking. Okay, that's very important. The judges hate it when you don't have lamination. Leslie's came out really good. She actually used a copy of one of Paul's recipes, although she like zhuzhed it up a little bit. Her flavors were cranberry and sausage, and she put a gooseberry compote in there, which the judges really liked it. Never had gooseberry. Prue said the gooseberry was genius. Tom's was okay. It broke a little bit, unfortunately, and he had pork meat with fermented chili and soybean. It was inspired by time he spent in Hong Kong, I guess. They liked his flavors, but the pastry wasn't great because it broke. Jasmine's came out really good. Prue loved it. Paul loved it. It looked great, but no handshake. I wonder if Paul is pulling back on the handshakes because he thinks he's been a bit too liberal with them. I don't know. Let's talk about Natalia's. Hers was basically meat wrapped around an entire stick of butter. Sounds kind of American, doesn't it? Like it sounds good, but also kind of heart attacky. Hers could have been neater. It could have had more color. I guess the pastry was kind of underbaked. But Paul gave us a tip on this one. He said if you're using pastry and the filling is super moist, maybe overbake the pastry a little bit so you get some of that moisture out. Thanks, Paul. Got it. Noted. Toby was brave today and did a full puff pastry. What the other bakers did what's called a rough puff, which I guess is like a cheater's way of doing puff pastry, but he wanted to do it the real way, and it backfired on him. Paul did not help his confidence when he flat out said, "You cannot do it" in the time allowed, but Toby tried anyway. His lamination wasn't great. It lost definition. Paul was kind of bored with the flavors, but honestly, I thought they sounded awesome. Chicken and bacon and leek and cheddar, like I could eat that any day of the week. But it was a pastry challenge and his just wasn't flaky enough. Ian's looked pretty cool. It was the only one that was in a circle. Everyone else had like a straight design. So it looked cool. Paul was not stoked about the flavors. When Ian said he was using tofu, Paul almost checked out of the building. Like he almost left. Paul seems like a very hearty meat and potatoes kind of guy. And the flavors didn't come out great. Aaron's was really good. His was so good that both of the judges wanted him to save them some so that they could have it for lunch. No handshake, but they wanted it for lunch. I feel like that's better than a handshake. His looked really good. Everything looked good except the pastry was just slightly underbaked. And Paul even said it was annoying because everything else was so good. All right, technical challenge. They had to make a gala pie. And here I go again to Google. What is a gala pie? It's a rectangular pork pie with a hot water crust pastry, and it has to have a classic line of eggs running through it. So basically eggs surrounded by meat, surrounded by pastry. Check. With a piccalilli. I was like, what the hell is a piccalilli? Okay, Google, what is a piccalilli? Okay, so it's a relish with chopped pickled vegetables in a mustardy type sauce. All right, got it. Sounded made up, but I guess it's a thing. I don't know if I've been just not paying attention, but I just realized today that Ian is a vegetarian. So this challenge must have been a nightmare for him, like handling raw meat the entire time. Wait, is that why he's so small? Because he's not eating meat? That makes sense. Apparently, you need to put a hole in this so that steam can escape. Because if it can't, it just like sogs everything up and makes it all wet and gross in there. And I bet you that was not in the directions. The fact that these bakers can come up with anything in these challenges, let alone something good, amazes me. And it was pretty fun for me to watch them try to figure out how to get them out of the little molds that they were in. I'm sure I would have made a mess of it. All right, at the top, we've got Leslie with third. So she did great in the SIG and the text, so she's doing awesome. Ian got second with his, and then Jasmine got first. Dead last was Aaron. His was terrible, not good. And then Tom got second to last. I'm not used to seeing Tom like not do so well. The Showstopper challenge seemed crazy. They had to make a visually stunning sculpted tart and make something completely out of pastry that was at least a foot high, but not use any supports or anything, just pastry. They had a really cute intro where they were all like doing these little struts and model walks. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. But I just wonder how much Prue had drank by this point. Like, was she hammered? Or is this sober Prue? I don't know. It was cute though. Toby did something that I would do. He did not read the directions. He thought this challenge was 4.5 hours, but it was only 4. So he was like really having to crank it out there at the end. And I almost think that he figured that out like halfway through. His was a roller coaster design, and it was pretty funny when he was talking to the judges because his first design was like this complicated loop-de-loop, and then that was too hard. And then like each iteration of his just got simpler and simpler, and the final design was just like a straight line. But I totally get it. I would have done the same. His turned out good. His flavors were honey and blackberry and mascarpone. His design was a little bit wonky, a little bit wobbly, but overall, judges loved it. Jasmine's looked so professional. It didn't look like a human made it. It looked like, I don't know, a machine made it or something. But the flavors weren't great. She tried a chocolate frangipane, which I guess was really dry. So this one was more of a looker than a taster, but she still got Star Baker. Leslie, again, did really good. Her flavors were like pecan pie, and it looked good too. Ian's was another good one. His was pecan and walnut and whiskey. Although they said there was too much booze in there, especially if Prue said there's something with too much booze, like there's got to be a shitload of booze in there. Aaron, I think, made one of those classic mistakes on this show and using extracts. If I have learned anything on this show, it's the judges do not care for extracts, and he used way too much jasmine. Tom pulled it out, so he didn't do good in the first 2 challenges, but he really knocked it out with this one. With his playable interactive game, it looked really good. And his flavors were cherry and almond. Judges loved it. And Natalia, her flavors sounded really good. Pistachio, praline, and raspberry and cream. She had a great design. Sometimes she just pulls out these like amazing designs, but it was a pastry challenge, and hers was just really overworked and thick and not pleasant. So we say bye to Natalia. We've got 7 bakers left. It's getting real. Do you have predictions on who's going to win? I think it's between Jasmine and I'm going to say Ian. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.